We have Mr. Richard Briers with us, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Briers, thank you so much for coming in, Richard.
Pleasure, Jonathan.
Are you OBE, CBE, MBE, sir?
I've got an OBE.
Oh,
we have been about 13, 14 years now.
At the very least, I would have thought, but not been knighted yet. I think knighted.
Well, you've got CBE to go.
Right.
Then you've got the big K.
Right.
Then it's Lord Briers. And that's it.
I'm going to write a letter after the show.
Would you?
Yeah, I don't know who to, though. who do you write to about that kind of thing?
I don't know.
The Fat Controller, isn't it?
Yes,
I'm not sure who you write to.
That's a good idea.
Does Tony Blair get involved? Surely
I don't know.
He must have grown up watching you like the rest of us.
I don't know if he knows who I am.
Yeah, I bet you. I should imagine. If you just said to him, rhubarb and custard, he'd immediately ring a bell. He'd say, what do you mean he hasn't got a CBE?
That's right. Yes, he'd been about 5 by then, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would have been.
5 years old.
Is that funny for you as you're getting on a bit? Because you now, what are you, about 47, 48?
Don't make me cough. I'm 68 on Monday.
Wow, well, you look fantastic on it.
Not bad.
68, and you're still working great guns.
Well, not bad for a wino.
Yeah. Well, we assume that of all actors, of course.
Yes, quite.
But is it strange for you looking and seeing someone now running the country who is just a mere boy?
I know, it's weird, isn't it? And those good life repeats keep coming in, which is wonderful, but it's quite depressing. You look at them and think, God, where did the 26 years go?
That must be strange, seeing yourself captain forever at that age.
Well, that's a good thing playing Hector, in the old Monica the Glen, because at least people, if they're going to employ me at all, they say, that's what he looks like now, white-haired old git, give him this part, some mad.
It's not a horrible shock when you turn up.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Although Felicity Kendall has obviously sold her soul to someone, because she doesn't look of age a day.
She's amazing, isn't she? And Penny Keith has weathered very well.
Let's just get this out of the way now. You and Felicity, you never got it on. You never made the beast with two backs.
Well, she...
That's okay to say. That's a Shakespearean phrase.
Yes, you're all right there.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
But you never did.
Well, to be perfectly frank with you, she couldn't keep her hands off me. I have to come clean on your show.
Did you employ the Muhammad Ali technique and have lots of matches ready to burn just in case temptation? Actually, what I always rather fancy Penelope Keith.
Oh, she's marvellous. Yeah. She's a marvellous woman. Very attractive. She's worn very well.
I like that slightly stern approach.
Yes, well, you like the sort of...
Well, yes. I like, frankly, anyone. Frankly.
Yes.
I'm just letting you know that if you do bump into her, tell her there's a warm welcome.
I certainly will. She'd be delighted to meet you.
But you know what was interesting about The Good Life, I think, looking back now, is and I was unaware of this at the time, because I was watching it as a kid, but it's just how strong all the actors are. I mean, just what incredible cast you have there, really. We
were very lucky to get the 4.
In the lead, four of the best stage actors in the country and TV actors, and it must have been, I mean, presumably at the time there, that was something which delighted you. You must have felt comfortable with
Unbelievable. I said to John Howard Davis, director, I said, we need really some good people. So look at the stage, go to the West End and look at a play. I said, Alan Ayckbourn's play was on, and there was Penny Keith, and there was Felicity Kendall in the same play. They said they're great. And they hound it hard a bit. They're a bit worried about being celebs, because actors get very serious when they're young.
But understandably as well, because you do get... And in fact, all of you were, to an extent, typecast by that show.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And whatever, I used to say Penny Keith, 10, 15 years ago, I said, darling, don't get depressed. Whatever we do for the next 20, 30 years, till we drop off the hook, I said, the obituary will be The Good Life. So just, accept that. And be grateful for it. And my God, we are grateful.
I'd love to see, with maybe you and Felicity, just a kind of an update of The Good Life now, 20 years on.
Well, she'd be all right, but this sad old thing you're looking at is sad, depressing.
Okay. Come on, we can do wonders with computer digital cameras. Special. If they make dinosaurs walk, they make you look good. We'll call it Walking with Briers.
That's an idea.
It would be nice to see it, because I'm assuming, in my imagination, they're still together, they're still happy, it worked out for them nicely.
Yes.
They're lovely.
I think she would have left him a long time ago.
I think Penelope would have moved in, and it's a very hot menage a trois going on. It's the only way of keeping warm when the boiler breaks down.
Absolutely right.
That would be lovely.
Be good.
Make a note. We'll send that idea.
Yeah.
Send that into Greg Dyke.
Dear Greg Dyke. Take it to Greg.
Walking with Briers.
But you still get... It strikes me you still get the work you want. You still are very lucky in that respect. And
very lucky. I mean, dear old Ken Branagh, suddenly I got in the classics. I've got the dignity. The money dropped, but I got the dignity.
But the work you did with him is terrific work. I mean, I've always enjoyed... I've only seen the movies you've made with him. I know you did some stage work as well.
Yeah.
But all the movies you...
Much Ado was a nice movie.
Tremendous movie.
Yeah.
Really, I think it was on over Christmas, actually.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it's a lovely film.
It's a nice film. It's like having a small holiday.
Yeah, really. But it's nice to see Shakespeare, performed in that way and once again made accessible. I mean, I went to see it and I see a lot of movies and I sit down and think, here we go. And I just was delighted and transported. Really,
it's great, isn't it? He does sell Shakespeare very well to a big wide public who would always say, oh, God, do me a favour, much you do about what? Yeah. But they see it and they think it's great.
Do you find when you when you were younger as an actor, but more so now, do you tend to get the kind of Polonius type parts? You get the kind of the crucial but smaller roles?
Oh, yes, definitely supporting roles now. Right. And usually, when you get over 65, you get play a lot of mad old people, like Hector, who's completely off the wall.
Of course, yeah.
And they're great fun to play because you can be theatrical, you can actually overact, which I very rarely do.
It's strange, though, isn't it? Because in a way, writing for older characters, I guess, it does seem to fall into... You very rarely just see very straightforward, uncomplicated, older characters in drama. They are either completely nuts or very bitter.
That's right.
So there's not a lot of room there, really.
No, and the English love an eccentric. They love an eccentric. There's always employment there for the old gits.
Are you eccentric in your own self, though? I mean, are there eccentrics?
I've become eccentric. 45 years in the business drives you up the wall, you know. So I'm a bit peculiar.
And do you have superstitions and rituals that you go through?
No. When you're young, you do. But when you're older, you think, come on, love, if you blow it, you blow it, you know. How many times you walk around in 50 circles or something?
You either know what you're doing by now or you don't.
Yeah, that's right.
What if you were looking back, though, what were the favourite periods of your life for working? I mean, I'm not trying to say it's over, of course. There's many fine years to come. But which of the shows or the performances or the live acts that you've most enjoyed being part of?
I loved playing Alan Ayckbourn plays. Yeah. And we're doing an old one now. We're reviving an old one with June Whitfield in March.
Wonderful.
So Bedroom Fast. So that's Ayckbourn's got lovely parts for everybody. Everyone's happy because everyone's got a good part. It's not just, one guy or one girl getting all the stuff.
Is that difficult when you're the kind of the linchpin of a performance like that? Do the others gradually begin to resent you?
No.
You don't get into bed and find they've made your bed up in a funny way. They put cling film over the toilet just before a performance. Those kind of things.
No, I've never been disliked that much.
I'm sure some of them have been, though. There were some actors
thought it.
Heard of, yeah. So it's okay. It's just a professional kind of approach.
Yeah, it's a hard job of work, really.
Course, yeah.
And was blooming lucky to get it. I mean, most of us don't get employed a lot at all.
I'm always amazed, though, when I see people taking on I don't know how long the run will be of the Ayckbourn you're about to go into, but
limited.
And what, 3 months, something like
that? Yeah, 12 weeks, yeah.
Still, that's a long time to be going, virtually every day, up on stage, finding that level of energy and enthusiasm and just getting up there and doing it.
It's, quite frankly, it's a pain. When I was young, it was great because, your ego's working and your name's getting bigger on the bills. Then you get over 60, you think, well, I can't want a 9-month run, 6-month run. Do me a favour,
Yeah.
So I say, look, I'll do it. I'll take less money, but please, I'll do 12 weeks, not 26.
Yes.
So you get off it like that. The only way to get out of it is to take less money.
What do you do the rest of the day? I've always been interested in this when actors are... because there's a lot of time just to knock around. Yes. You can't really go too far from where you're working, and you have to make sure you're there in good time. And, say midway through a short one like that, where everything's comfortable, there's no rehearsal.
Yes.
What do you do? Do you leave it to the last minute to turn up? Or do you...
No, because the older you get, the earlier you get. I mean, I was here this morning about 9, just in case, because there's a live show. You worry more. I say, I'm very early, but tell them that Mr. Briers is here. You get all that. Well, you do. Yeah. You're bound to get that sort of thing. But, I mean, normally, if I don't do a voiceover or I'm not doing a television in a day, which I used to do in my high-earning years, 45, 55 years of age, I do what anybody else... I go out to Marks,
A little bit of shopping.
Yes, do me edges, cut the grass. Yeah. You hit the dog. What else do you do?
Are you a king gardener?
I like things in order. I'm not creative. The wife's creative. Annie's creative. I just like it. I rather like Martin in Ever-Decreasing Circles. I like a bit of neatness.
We're forcing the rhubarb at the moment at home.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
You put your bin over the rhubarb to force it to grow early. You're mocking me, both of you, but I'm telling you, this is quite important. Well, when the two of you are sitting there hungry, I'll be enjoying rhubarb crumble early in the year because I went out and started forcing my rhubarb.
Well, you're creative gardeners. I'm not. I just do the chores.
Oh, I'll admit, I have a man in to force the rhubarb for me. I can't take the credit for it. But I like the idea. I mean, it's nice to be out there and to be doing something creative like that
and natural. Rather than standing on a platform every night shouting your head off is not natural. I mean, people can't be. You can't be normal to want to do that. But that's me. So,
but there must be a balance, I guess, in your life you find between the two.
Oh yeah, I mean, completely ordinary living is great. And get your bus pass, go up in the tube. And read the Evening Standard. I mean, that's what one does. Do anything else.
Yeah,
that's got cocktail parties all afternoon. Then straight to the theatre.
But they're fun occasionally.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Let's have some more music. We'll chat to Richard a bit more after this. What are we going to play?
I'm going to play a track off the Ron Sexsmith album.
Lovely.
Called Cheap Hotel.
Nice choice, Ron Sexsmith there. He's still a very underrated talent, I think, Ron.
That was a good album, though. That Blue Boy, that album was called.
But you know what his problem is? He plays very long gigs.
Does he?
Very, very long gigs.
But that was a short track.
3-4 hours.
Did 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah, but live there'll be about 30 minutes of, like, instrumental in the middle.
Okay.
We have Richard Briers with us. We're disappointed to find out he's merely an OBE. Frankly, when you were booked, Richard, I was under the impression you were at the very least a CB, possibly a Knight of the Realm, and now...
Sorry.
I've
taken the show down a bit, I'm sorry.
I feel you should let people know that more loudly.
Well, I called Richard Sir Richard earlier, and I actually thought it rolled off the tongue. I actually thought he was a sir.
It sounds right.
It sounds right, doesn't it?
It fits. There's no doubt about that.
They will not get the message.
Get a couple of those. Get a little package together for Richard. We'll send it into Tony Blair.
Okay.
Some pictures of Richard in his prime.
Yeah.
As he is now, so we get the sympathy vote.
Little recording of rhubarb and custard.
I tell you, that was a great series, wasn't it?
Marvellous series.
Extraordinary. Suggs and Co, North London's finest there, Madness. You're listening to Radio 2, 88-91 FM. It's me, Jonathan Ross. I'm with Andy Davis, and we're very happy to have Mr. Richard Briers here with us.
Thank you, Jonathan.
We thought he was a lord, we thought he was a knight. He's merely a humble OBE. Does that ever work for you? Have you ever flaunted the OBE in order to get a better table at a restaurant?
No.
Oh, come on.
No. You're not supposed to do that because it's bad taste.
I would, of course,
common.
do it all the time. Well, when I say I would, I mean,
not
I will.
Not common, but you would do it.
I will when it happens.
I think, really, they're being honest. One should use everything one can to get a good table.
And are you, can I just check a couple of things that I'm learning about? Are you mainly happier when you're sitting down these days? Would I be right in thinking that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Or lying down is marvellous.
I find that, as I'm getting older, I'll just get grumpy just standing sometimes, just because I'm standing.
It's funny, isn't it?
It's hard to
but
work,
you're
isn't
still
it?
young.
Yeah, but gravity pushes down on us all.
Oh, jokes. It's a very depressing morning.
Oh, my knees.
Oh, my knees.
What was the first thing to go for you, your knees or your hips?
Well, nothing yet. But I think the knees are beginning.
My knees crunch all the time.
Oh, really? Well, you do too much exercise.
That's obviously it.
Don't do too much.
You're looking at me, you can tell that's obviously not the case, Richard. If I can be accused of many things, it's not doing too much exercise. Do you exercise, though? Do you do any kind of mild... No Air Force exercises? No. Deep breathing?
No, not really. No, I breathe a bit, but...
Yeah, just enough.
Just enough to get me going. Keep me going.
Just enough to get the oxygen in, really.
Yes, that's right. But I don't like warm-ups. You know, actors do warm-ups before performances. I don't do warm-ups.
Do you do any sort of facial stuff, though, to get the voice warmed up?
No, I go and then go on. Yeah. And then sometimes when I'm on, I go
It's more of a token gesture so that the other actors don't feel so silly, I guess.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll join
boosting their confidence.
But do you look forward still to performing? I mean, is it a different sort of interest and excitement that keeps you going now? Or?
It gets more of a chore and responsibility and all that, and I'm beginning to whinge because I'm one of the great whingers in the profession of whingers. But, I mean, it's the best thing in the world, I'm sure you know this, is to get a live audience and get a good line written well, time it well, and get a really good belter.
That's a nice
laugh.
feeling.
It's the best thing in my life.
Yeah. And you still, and basically, I suppose, live performing is still where you get that more so.
Yeah, and you look down, the people are smiling at you, so you get affection. They say, oh, he's funny, and he's cheered me up, and that's what you're there for. So,
and what sort of audiences do you get when you're doing, say, a matinee performance?
Yes.
Would I be right in thinking that's mainly people who have nowhere else to go?
There is a lot of those people, but a lot of foreign people you see in the West End. And when you're doing an Alan Ayckbourn, which is about middle class, lower middle class people,
that must be hard.
And you've got a lot of Finns and Japanese people in front. It's a bit, Is
that because like coach tours and people they buy into a theatre? Because I went to see the Woman in Black recently.
Oh yes,
which I enjoyed tremendously.
Yes, it's good, isn't it?
It's scary. And I want to see that, but there were an awful lot of foreign kids and coach parties and that kind of stuff going on. You know, and it seemed to be a lot of Filipino nannies there.
Yes, you get a lot of those.
You get a lot of that.
Yeah, I suppose they come from the Philippines.
Well, it's warm in there.
Yes, it's nice.
It's warm, and there's somewhere to sit.
Yeah.
And there's people on stage and they can learn the language. There are Filipinos wandering around out there quoting Noel Coward. Far better than you or I.
Far better.
Speaking of Noel Coward, I believe Penelope Keith, we mentioned earlier, she's on in the West End in a Noel Coward.
She's in a very odd Noel Coward, nobody's ever heard of, a play called Star Quality.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that.
No, the lyric, and she's very, very fine in it.
Did you go and see that, yeah?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Do you keep in touch?
Yes, we do.
I spoke to Richard Harris a short while ago, and he told me that he makes a point of saying at the end of every film production to the people he work with, I've enjoyed working with you all. Please don't try and contact me again. Let's remember this friendship only lasted for as long as the film, and let's not spoil it. And he moves on.
Very honest.
But I get the feeling that you probably are less honest. You're maybe...
Well, longer runs, you see. Yeah. Made a lot of friends in Monica the Glen, a lot of friends.
Genuine friends as well.
Yeah, so when you mean, 26 weeks, that's what? 70 weeks. It's a long time, and a film is what? So usually you go in for a film 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Or 6 or 12, maybe.
Yeah, at the most.
So Monica the Glen is on right now on the BBC. I believe it's Sunday nights, isn't it, I think?
Sunday night, yes, is where Hector disappears.
Right.
And then the next Sunday, it's the end of the series, and they're doing a 4th series next year.
And is it the last show in the series? That's the full frontal nudity series.
That is a full frontal noodle.
Noodle. It might well have looked like a noodle, but I think nudity is the word you were groping for.
The noodle scene is very moving.
I like a noodle scene, me. But you see, given the choice these days between watching a nude scene movie and watching someone eating a bowl of noodles and enjoying it, I think I would go for the latter.
Yes, I think I would now.
And they're not dissimilar pleasures, let's face facts.
No.
Richard, it's really lovely to see you again. We've established you're probably going to die before I do, so let's not take up any more of your valuable time here on the planet.
Thank you. It's very precious.
I want you to enjoy every last moment, and frankly, I'm sure there are places you could be right now that you'd be enjoying more than this. It's really lovely to see you.
Hilarious to see you.
Again, thank you so much for coming in. And good luck in the Alan Ayckbourn when it starts in March, is that?
That's it, March, and I'll let you know about the knighthood, is that all right?
I'm going to put the word in. I'm telling you, I seriously am going to make a little package up and send it in. Let's start lobbying. We can get
can't do any harm, can
if
it?
people are trying to keep Jimmy Young on the radio, we can get you on your knees with a sword hovering over your head. Richard, so lovely to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Jonathan. All the best.
Take best care.